What's going on YouTube? Cloverbells here, back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to be showing you a team building video. Yes, this is the bread and butter of the channel. I've been doing a lot of these in Sword and Shield, and I've waited a little bit in Scarlet Violet to do these because I was, just like observing and analyzing the meta a little bit more, and I don't want to do it anything too early because I could have been like very, very wrong, and I just wanted to like step back, observe things, and wait. And then decide how we're going to build some squads, right? And I feel like now's a good time to release a couple now that we got a decent feel of how things have been played. Just how, just be, looking at some casuals and, just looking at Picolytics and just overall looking at some teams that people have been posting on Twitter, especially some of the best players. And then we've been like looking at them a little bit, and I feel like we've got a good grasp, at least for now, right? So the first one I decided to do was RoaringMoon, right? So how would you build around maybe the most popular Paradox Pokemon in RoaringMoon? So I'm gonna go over like some of the tools that you want on a competitive team, okay? And then we're gonna go over like the roles that they fill, explain why we choose the mod that we did. Then we'll talk about the movesets, and the reasoning behind them. And then we'll talk about items and then EV spreads, right? And then we'll showcase them in like maybe 1 or 2 showdown battles, right? That's usually how we did things. In the Sword and Shield era, and that's going to be continuing into Scarlet Violet, right? And if this is something that you're interested in, right? If you want to team build with me the same way that I'm going to show you in this video, that is a tier 3 sub to the YouTube channel, right? If you look in the video description below, I have a couple perks, and tier 3 is the team building one where you and I, we just sit down, we organize a time, and then we sit down in a call and we build a squad from scratch, and I show you how I do my EVs, the way I do them, and then I just teach you a little bit about the competitive game the way I know it, right? Or if you already have a team yourself and you just want me to fix it up and optimize it a little bit for the upcoming rank ladder, then that is a tier 2 sub to the channel, and it's the same way. We sit down in a Discord call, I take a look at your team, I fix it up a little bit, and then I might even make a video on it, right? So if you're interested in any of those things, take a look at the perks in the video description, and let me know when you do sign up, and just message me on Discord when you do, and then we'll just go from there, right? So without further ado, let's just go ahead and start building this team around RoaringMoon. Okay, so first of all, why RoaringMoon? Well, if you look at the stats, you can see that it's a physical sweeper, right? Base 139 attack, the speed is 119, really, really fast. Good special defense bulk along with the HP, a little bit suffering in the defense, but that's okay. We have tools that we can put on the team to alleviate that a little bit, right? And then from here, you just want to consider like what are some threats that would outspeed RoaringMoon, and what are some checks that you can do with RoaringMoon, right? So this being a dark type, you can check a lot of the psychics and the ghosts, and more importantly, you can take a look at Dragapult, right? So Dragapult is the fastest thing in the meta at the moment. So if you can have a RoaringMoon with your dark typing outsmart the Dragapult here, then you're in a good spot, because I can see a lot of teams using a lot of offensive Dragapult. And then from there, your dragon typing is also really good. If you choose to do like a single target Dragon Claw or Breaking Swipe to reduce attack. But you got lots of options for the rest of the team. And again, this is a very heavy dark meta, so just having a dark dragon is overall really, really nice, right? But then from here, in terms of how I want to support RoaringMoon, so I definitely want an Intimidator on the team, right? Because I need to compensate for this lack of defense, right? So I'm already thinking of Arcanine. There's no more Incineroar, at least as of this moment. It was the premier Intimidate mod in Sword and Shield, right? But this is now Scarlet and Violet, and Arcanine is #1, top of the hill in terms of Intimidate support. There's other options that you can do on the team, and then we can talk about what are some other Intimidate alternatives if you don't like Arcanine. But this is also really, really good, just for the tools that it can give you. And the fire typing is really good against potential steel types, which there are a lot of in the meta. Something like King Gambit, Goldango, just to name a couple. Scizor, Arcanine does really, really well against a lot of those options, right? And if you consider RoaringMoon, 4 times weak to Fairy, Arcanine is able to pivot in and take in those Fairy hits because the fire typing is able to resist the Fairy damage, right? So again, we check off the Intimidate, so that's also really nice. And then from here, I can start to kind of see where I want to go here. So I got 2 physical Mons, right? And I kind of want a special attacking Mon, right? And I want something that's pretty quick. So I can't think of a better fast offensive threat than Fluttermane, right? And before any of you start raging, again, this is VGC doubles. Fluttermane is not banned. This is not Smolgan, not singles, nothing like that. So this is completely legal. We don't do any bans in VGC doubles, not like that. There was a moment in Series 6 in Sword and Shield, but we don't talk about those days. All right. So Fluttermane's really nice. Again, you're faster than other Roaring Moons. So you win the mirror if you have a Fluttermane on your team because you have this fairy typing. Base 135 speed is really, really nice. And if you just want to take a look at the speeds here, you can see Fluttermane. We don't really count Electro. Nobody's using it. You're fifth in terms of like speed tier. The only thing that's outspeeding you is Iron Bundle and Dragapult. You are speed tying Qianpao, which is why a lot of Fluttermanes and Qianpaos are going for max speed because they don't want to lose those speed ties. But yeah, Fluttermane is just really, really nice in terms of what we want to do with it, right? It's a special sweeper. Okay, ghost typing, really good. A ghost fairy, right? Think of Mimikyu, but now this is the offensive version. A little bit frail, but again, we have tools to help the survivability for Fluttermane, right? Because you do have Arcanine, and then in addition to like your Intimidate support, you are going to be using Snarl, so you can reduce special attack damage as well. And although Fluttermane's special defense is really good, the HP is not. So any kind of support that Arcanine can give us, we're in a nice spot, right? And the other thing is like if you consider Fluttermane's fairy typing, weak to a lot of steel types. Which again, Arcanine does really, really well against, right? So this is my core, okay? And then from here, I'm looking at, again, I need a little bit more support because both of these things have photosynthesis. So at some point, I'm probably gonna need either an energy booster or, is it called, no, I think it's called booster energy, right? Booster, yeah, it's booster energy, not energy booster. And then I'm probably also gonna need, or need some weather control, right? Because they both do well in the sun. That's what their ability does. Or I can just give one of them a booster energy, right? So, but here's the other thing. So I've got a dragon type, I've got a fairy type, and then what I am looking for is maybe I need a steel type on the team, okay? Because then that'll round out one of the 2 VGC cores that you want, which is what we call the fantasy core. The Dragon Fairy Steel core, because that's what they have in fairy tale storybooks. You got dragons, you got fairies, and then you got knights in armor. Hence the name Fantasy Core, Dragon Fairy Steel. The other kind of core is Fire, Water, Grass, because they're both good flexible pivot options. You're able to, cover for each other's weaknesses because of the typing. That's why your starters in Pokemon is always Fire, Water, Grass for that reason, right? So I've got a fire type. I am needing a grass type, and I do need some kind of water type, right? So the other thing is, like, I got some pretty fast mons here. Fluttermane and Roaring Moon are relatively fast, and now if somebody clicks Trick Room, I'm in some trouble, right? And I'm gonna be losing that kind of matchup. So I need something that can do well in Trick Room while also having that grass typing, and I think Amoonguss pretty much comes to mind here, which is really, really nice because now if they want to click Trick Room, then now that favors us because then we can just sport everything, right? So the mushroom is still good. You might say, why not Brute Bonnet? Brute Bonnet is an option, right? If you've got weather on your side, then you can opt for the Brute Bonnet and be a little bit more offensive. It's just another physical option. But I'm going to show you why Amoonguss is also pretty good here. But again, if you want the Brute Bonnet, where is it? Right here. Brute, yeah, there we go. If you want the Brute Bonnet, you're more than happy to do it. You're more than welcome to do it, I should say. It's just another good offensive threat. But I do like Amoonguss in this slot here, right? And of course, it's going to be Regenerator. We don't really use that other ability. So I've got my fire type. I've got my grass type. I do need a steel type, and I do need a water type to just like round out my cores. All right. So then I have to consider, okay, what else is a little bit more offensive here? Because Arcanine and Amoonguss, they're pretty good in terms of like supporting your team because you got redirection with Rage Powder. You're able to spore stuff. You're able to like click Snarl. You're also going to be able to click Will-O-Wisp to neuter special and physical attackers along with your Intimidate. But I just need a little bit more offense. Roaring Moon and Fluttermane is nice, but maybe I need another offensive threat. And then what also comes to mind is this thing. So where's my water type? I'm gonna filter, and I can see that a pretty good option is Iron Bundle, right? Instead of Barraskewda. So Iron Bundle might be a weird choice to some of you guys, right? You might even opt for something like a Gyarados, for example. Gyarados is also really, really nice, and you get a second Intimidator on your team. But I think this is a little bit better with like Garchomp. Like if you had Garchomp instead of Roaring Moon, I think Gyarados makes a little bit more sense. But that's a discussion for another day. But from here, I do like the bundle, right? So I'm just typing bundle here. And the reason why is, for one, if you look at the speed is 136, Fluttermane 135. So this is able to outspeed opposing Fluttermanes, which is actually really, really nice. And then it also gets this nice little cheeky speed control move called Icy Wind, right? And you know, in VGC, you always want to have, you know, multiple forms of speed control. I always say at least 2, all right? And the Icy Wind, like in the mirror, in the Fluttermane mirror, you're able to at least have this option of going into Iron Bundle, clicking Icy Wind, you know, reducing speed, and then your Fluttermane and your Roaring Moon can then have the speed that they need to potentially sweep, right? So, and then this is also another special sweeper. Look at this, base 124 special attack, really, really nice. And the other reason why you also want this mon is it also gets access to this move called Freeze Dry, along with you know, this water move Hydro Pump. Again, the Freeze Dry is really good, you know, just for like those annoying bulky water types, like, you know, Palafins running around, Dodanzo running around along with his friend Tatsugiri. You know, Iron Bundle just smashes that core, right? So it's a really, really good option to have Freeze Dry. And then the water types, it's nice for like other Arcanines, other fire types like Cerulege, Armarouge, you know, just like other strong fire types. You know, it's really, really nice. And then this is my Fire Water Grass core, right? So Arcanine, Amoonguss, and Iron Bundle, again, gives me that secondary offensive threat along with Fluttermane, my second special attacker, right? I don't really consider Amoonguss a special attacker, even though we're going to give it a special move. And then still we have Roaring Moon and Arcanine for like the offensive threat here, right? So now in this last slot, again, you know, I do need a little bit more speed control, right? Because I have Icy Wind, which is nice, but I think I do want like either some kind of weather or speed control, and if I can get both in one, that would be very, very good. And I decided to go with either 2 options. One, I could go with the Corviknight. All right, so the Corviknight with this serves a couple purposes, right? I'm showing you one option in this slot because with Corviknight, you get that steel typing that we need, that we're missing on the squad. So this way, we'll round out our Fire, Water, Grass core. The Mirror Armor is really good because, again, if they lead with Intimidate, you know, the Mirror Armor just, you know, bounces that right back to them. Just in case we go with like a Roaring Moon Corviknight lead. But Corviknight gets access to Tailwind. All right, so this will give us the speed that we need to outspeed, you know, other opposing faster teams than us. All right, so there's that option. And not only that, but we also have like these endgame options with like Iron Defense, Body Press, and then Roost for recovery. Okay, so what we can do is just like keep alternating Iron Defense, you know, and recovering with Roost, and then eventually, like once our defenses are pretty well up there, then we can start going for hard-hitting body presses, which is, you know, really, really nice in like one-on-one situations if you can force those end games. And then this would obviously be a leftover set, so there's that, right? So there's that option. But the only problem here is I've got quite a few weaknesses to fire, which that did not make me feel great. Now, granted, that being said, you know, I still have some neutral damage against fire, so maybe not as much of fire weakness than I thought, but this is still a pretty good option, right? So this will give you your steel option, and I like this option a lot, you know, just because of the bulk that we have. And if you look at our team, you know, the Roaring Moon, the Arcanine, the Amoonguss, and the Corviknight, it gives you 4 good bulky mons that, you know, can do well. So the other option I had was just going with Murkrow, right? So Murkrow, okay, also gets Tailwind, but unlike Corviknight, it has a faster Tailwind because you have access to something called Prankster, right? And what that means is now your status moves are able to have priority, right? So Tailwind's really, really nice. Normally this would be something like Whimsicott, but then, you know, there's no Whimsicott here, so Tailwind is here. I mean, Murkrow is here with Tailwind, and not only that, it also gets access to Sunny Day, and that's important, right? because now what we can do is enable the Fluttermane and the RoaringMoon's photosynthesis and either give them an attack boost, a speed boost, or in this case a special attack boost or their speed boost, right? So we got two options, right? So you can set up Tailwind, then you can set up Sunny Day if you need to, or if they have Sand teams with Tyranitar, which is another top 20 Pokemon in the format, you can take away their Sand and then just go with Sunny Day, and then now you have the control back on your side in terms of weather, right? So Sunny Day is really nice in terms of what we want with the Murkrow, and this is the 6, right? So again, I'll show you like two, kinds of squads that you can build with RoaringMoon, but this is the main one that I'm going to show you. I'll show you the second one, like towards the end of the video, like as an alternate build. But again, what does the team do? So again, with RoaringMoon, you got your nice physical dragon option. You can enable also that with Murkrow, with Tailwind and Sunny Day. The Fluttermane gives you a nice special attacker that's also very fast. Good fairy type, very, very nice against a lot of those dark types running around in the meta. Also gets enabled by Tailwind and Sunny Day. Arcanine and Amoonguss, they give you that nice defensive backbone where they can just go for those Intimidates, those Snarls and Will-O-Wisps. So another good option here, and really, really good at the steel types. And then Amoonguss gives you that option in Trick Room games where you're able to click Spore. Also, you can click Rage Powder, set up your Tailwind, by the way, and then bring in either RoaringMoon or Fluttermane and, just start, doing a bunch of damage, right? Then Iron Bundle, by the way, you can also do the Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle also, again, this is for your bulky water types that you're going to have trouble removing unless you have it. And again, it gives you a little bit extra speed control with Icy Wind. And then you're, just for like those mirror games against other Fluttermanes. And then, you just have a nice hard-hitting water move like Hydro Pump. Just don't miss. All right, very important that you don't miss. But yeah, it's a really, really good move. And again, this Murkrow, just like Amoonguss, again, another supportive mon that you're able to use with Tailwind and Sunny Day, right? So that's the skeleton of the team, right? I gave you all 6 options. So let me just go ahead and reveal those GIFs real quick right here. And now what I'm going to do is start building the rest of the team in terms of movesets, the items, and again, the EV spreads, right? So let's take a look at this. Okay, so let's start with the RoaringMoon here. So a couple of things that you can consider is, of course, you're a dark type. You're going to want to go for a dark type move. So I thought Throat Chop is going to be really, really nice just because you can stop other potential sound moves, like maybe a Sylveon's running around, which is still, again, one of the higher use mons, especially like those fairy types. You can stop them from using Hyper Voice. You can stop Snarls, which is also kind of interesting. Or you can just go with Crunch. Crunch is also a good option, right? If you can get that defense drop, that's also really, really nice. So I leave it up to you. If you want to go for Crunch or Throat Chop, it's all personal preference. But you got to have a dark move, first of all, right? Then you can go for your dragon move, something like either Dragon Claw or Breaking Swipe. And I like Breaking Swipe just because you're able to deal a bunch of damage and then just like neuter other physical attackers. And then they're kind of like in a bad spot if they take a Breaking Swipe, because now they may have to switch out, and then whatever switch out has to take another attack, which is good news for you if you can get that off. By the way, I do like the longer text first, so I'm just gonna go ahead with this. And then from here, I do like Dragon Dance, and again, this is why you have Amoonguss on your team, right? If you could just leave like RoaringMoon, Amoonguss, you can like click Rage Powder, then set up your Dragon Dance, and now you're the fastest thing in the format. And now you can go for these +1 Throat Chops, +1 Breaking Swipes, and deal a bunch of damage. And then in this last slot, you can go for Protect. That's also pretty cool. You also have the option to just either like not go for Protect, which for some of you may not be like not advisable, or maybe even like a red flag. But then you can get this move called Iron Head, and then what this does is, again, you can see I don't have that steel typing on the team, but I can Terra into the steel type. Where are you? And now if a fairy move like Fluttermane wants to click Moonblast or Dazzling Gleam into my RoaringMoon, I can go for that defensive Terra typing, go with the Iron Head, and now become a steel type and pressure the Fluttermane from the get-go, right? And a lot of these dragons, they are opting for Terra Steel, right? With the exception of maybe like Dragonite, it just wants to click Terra normal, E-speed everything. But other types of dragons, they kind of like the steel move, right? So Iron Head is an option. The other thing you can do is you can just say, okay, I don't like the dragon move, right? I think, you know, it just doesn't do enough for me in terms of like typing wise. I'd rather do just like throat chop, iron head. I do like that, dragon dance, and then in the last slot you can go for protect, right? If you want to do this, that's also fine. Okay, again, it's up to the the viewer, how you want to do your team building with your Roaring Moon, but I'm just showing you like some options here. But yeah, and then over here, I can't give everyone a booster energy, right? You know, or I can't even give this a booster energy, right? But so what I can do is just give this thing a life orb, because I still want damage, and then the speed boost is going to be really nice if I'm going to be squeezing out all this extra damage, especially if I have breaking swipe over here. You know, so like life orb +1 breaking swipes is going to do a lot of damage to both Pokemon. So yeah, you do with it what you will, but I do like life orb. Alright, Flutter Mane. So for Flutter Mane, it's a very easy moveset. I do like Dazzling Gleam, and I do like Shadow Ball. I think these two moves are relatively standard. It's your 2 stat moves, of course. 1 spread move, 1 single target move. And then I actually like Trick Room and Protect with a Focus Sash over here. And I'll tell you why. Because now you have another option for speed control, right? You got Tailwind, you got Icy Wind, now you have Trick Room. Which is really good for you because what you can do with Flutter Mane is if you don't bring your Murkrow and they bring Tailwind, you can lead your Flutter Mane, and if they click Tailwind, now you click Trick Room, and now all of a sudden you're in a good spot because now you're just kind of chilling, you know, because now everything that they have is going to be slower than you, and you can just outspeed everything, deal a bunch of damage. So you have that option, and then that also helps your Amoonguss in a way, because now your Amoonguss will have a favorable speed control on the Trick Room, and then you can just click Spore on everything, right? So there's the benefit there, okay? And again, I'm going to do EVs after I do like the movesets and the items, because often the movesets and the items dictate your EV spreads, right? So always do those 2 first and then your EVs. All right, Arcanine, we pretty much filled it out a little bit earlier in the video, but you do need a Fire Stab. Flare Blitz is the main thing, just like Incineroar back in Sword and Shield and in previous games as well. And then this last move, I think Extreme Speed is also nice. Just in case, you know, you don't have the speed control and you just need a little bit more damage, the E-Speed will give you priority, and then, you know, you're just able to, you know, click things and just like deal with some damage. All right, now from here, you know, just in case, you have a couple options, right? I do think you can do Citrus Berry on this, you know, if you don't want to give it to your Amoonguss, or if you're afraid of Spore and Sleep Powder shenanigans from like other Amoonguss, other Brute Bonnets, and like Lilligant running around, you can always go with the Safety Goggles over here, and then that gives you an out to the Amoonguss stuff, right? So there's that, but I leave it up to you. Either Safety Goggles or Citrus Berry, or maybe even like a Mago Berry, up to you. But here are the Amoonguss. So Rage Powder and Spore, of course, those are your other 2 moves. And then from here, I do like Clear Smog, which is another move that's good against other fairies. And then, you know, something like Protect, or you can go for like Giga Drain over here, but I do like Protect. And then you can see that we already used our Sash, and we have a Safety Goggles here. So you could either put the Citrus Berry here, or you can use the Oka Berry, which I like, because, you know, what can really pressure the Amoonguss? A Flare Blitz from an opposing Arcanine, right? So I do like the Oka Berry for that reason. But if you think, you know, you're not too worried about that, then just go with like a Citrus Berry in this case, and then you're kind of fine, right? So from here, again, why would you run Clear Smog? A couple of reasons. One, if other opponents have like Iron Defense Body Press stuff, you know, you can Clear Smog that and it's gone. If you're running against the Donzo stuff, where, you know, it gets an Omni boost from Tatsugiri, you just click Clear Smog, and now all his boosts are gone, right? If stuff go for Nasty Plots, Swords Dance, Dragon Dance, you know, all these kinds of setup moves, Clear Smog, everything is gone, right? You also have that option to just go for Haze on your Murkrow if you want to do that. And if you just want to go for a grass move here, like Giga Drain, you're more than welcome to do that. I think that's okay. But if not, then Clear Smog is the way to go for your Amoonguss. And then over here, you can go for something like Pollen Puff if you don't want to go for Protect. This way, you have either attack that can do damage against the opponent, or you can heal your own Pokemon with Pollen Puff and get some recovery that way, right? So a lot of different options you can have. I'm just, you know, showing you what you can do in terms of building wise. And again, all this stuff you would have to just test it yourself to see which one you like. But I'm just giving you like the most viable options, right? So there's that. But for now, I'll just put Protect. I think it's okay. Iron Bundle, again, we already filled out this kind of moveset with Freeze Dry, Hydro Pump, and Icy Wind. I think over here you just want to protect in your last slot. And then you can just have the did I choose the item? Oh no, I did. So now you already have the Life Orb here, you have the Focus Sash here. Now you can put the Booster Energy on this, and now you can either get that speed boost or that special attack boost. And if you want, depending on you, you can put the Focus Sash over here, and then you can put the Booster Energy here. But because Fluttermane is so frail, I kind of want to put the Sash over here and then just put the Booster Energy on this side, because it still has pretty good defenses, right? So it can kind of take a physical hit a little bit. But yeah, that's how I feel. And then from here, the Murkrow. So a couple options again, but first let's do the moveset first. So Tailwind, Sunny Day. I do like Foul Play as my at least an attacking move, so let me just reorganize this. Right, so Foul Play, able to do big damage against like ghost types. Also, if things go for like Swords Dance or a Dragon Dance, or maybe some kind of weakness policy gimmick, or something like Dodonzo, you're able to do a lot of damage with the Foul Play, and it's your dark stat, right? You gotta have at least one dark type attack, right? And then over here you can just put Protect. That's another option, or you can do like other stuff like another Icy Wind. If you want to do that, you can do something like Feather Dance, which again you can lower. Again, you have Prankster, so it'll go first. You can lower an attack by 2 stages, which is very, very detrimental. It's basically like Charm. But yeah, you have like some other options here, I think, right? You have the Haze option. We talked about that. So it's really all like preference at this point, but you gotta have at least these 3 moves. But for here, I'm just gonna put Protect in the last slot. But yeah, also, if you don't want to do that, if you do want to do Feather Dance, for example, and then if you're afraid of getting faked out, then you can just put the Covert Cloak, right? So that'll stop the fake out, I believe, right? Where it says hold is not fake. Yeah, so like you don't get flinched. So there's that. There's that as an option, right? And by the way, if you also don't want to get Intimidate spammed on your Roaring Moon, you can go for the Amulet, right? And then you can put like the Life Orb on the Fluttermane or the Life Orb on the Iron Bundle, and then put the Sash and the Booster somewhere else. So a lot of reorganization that you can do. It all depends on what you want. But I do like the Life Orb just because even if he intimidates me, I can just kind of offset that with Dragon Dance. So yeah. But again, a couple options on your Murkrow. If you want to do that, or if you want to just do Eviolite. Not the best benefiter of Eviolite, I will say, right? These defenses, even with the +1, are still not that great. So I think the Cloak is a little bit good, a little bit better. For that reason, it's and again, you do have Protect here, so there's that. Now the reason why you could also run Protect is if it's your last turn of Tailwind or last turn of Trick Room, you can just click Protect, stall that last turn, and then when it expires next turn, you can just click Tailwind and reset it, right? So there's the benefit there, and Protect is always good in VGC, right? So yeah, so this is it. We did all the items, I believe. And now we're just gonna do the EVs and show you how we do those. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so let's take a look at Roaring Moon's EV spread first. So already when I think of stuff like this, I'm already thinking of Dragapult. Like if I can outspeed Dragapult at +1, then I'm in a good spot. Dragon Dance can help me do that. And then if you look here, I don't have to go Jolly. All I really need is 143. That'll let me outspeed Dragapult that way. Or if I want to speed creep as I go up 1 more. And then I can do it that way, right? And then what I can do, because I have Tailwind, is just go for like, and then that's all the speed I need. Then just go into like a super bulky spread. And then just also go for like hard hitting stuff, right? So there's the option for that. But I'm gonna go actually just max speed here, right? Because at the very least, if you have 168, you can outspeed the base 100s like this, which is also a very, very nice VGC benchmark. Stuff like Volcarona, and in the past, like stuff like Zapdos, Charizard, those kind of mons. And then even Palafin, you can even outspeed it. So there's that. And then from here, honestly, I'm just so close to max speed. I'm just gonna go like max speed, right? Now from here, I do wanna just go to like the second EV bump in the attack stat. And again, if you don't know what EV bumps are, you can comment in the video section below. But basically, for every 80 EVs that you invest, your stat goes up by 2 points only in the natured stat, okay? So what that means is this. So let's take a look at this. Right here, where's the first bump? It's actually right here. So when you go from 174, you see how you skip 175 and you just go to 176? This is already the first bump, okay? The next bump is 80 more EVs. So once you hit 84 investment over here, you will reach the next bump where your attack stat goes up by 2 points. And just for the sake of the video and just for the sake of, I've gotten new viewers, or, this last month or so, I'm just gonna show you slowly how this works. So see here, I'm going up by every 8 EVs. So look, it goes up by 1 point every time. 179, 180, 181, 182, 183, 184, 185, and then watch this, 187. You see, at 84 EVs. So what happened? I went from 185, I skipped 186, and I went to 187, and now this is the second EV bump in the RoaringMoon's natured stat. And again, this is only true in the natured stat, right? We are adamant. You're not going to see this anywhere else, whether it's HP, defense, or special defense, only in the natured stat, all right? Then from here, another 80 EVs will get you something like this. So what's 84 plus 80? 164. So again, you can see I went from 196 to 198. This is the second EV bump, which is really, really nice. And then from here, honestly, I just want to optimize my HP for Life Orb chip. So I always want to end in the 9 if I'm factoring the Life Orb. If I have something like this, so 189 divided by 10 will give me 18.9, which rounds down to 18. So I'm only taking 18 points of Life Orb chip per turn. If I break the threshold like this, if I go to 190 divided by 10 is now 19. So I'm taking 1 point more of extra HP damage per turn because I have this Life Orb. I don't need to do that. If I just undercut the threshold like this, I go to 189, and now I cheat the system, and now I've optimized my HP where like I have as much HP as possible, but still undercutting the threshold where I can take a little bit less Life Orb chip. And then from here, honestly, you can just put 1 point here and then just put the rest in defense like this, and this is totally fine, right? So this is my RoaringMoon spread. But again, if all you really care about is just outspeeding Dragapult, you can just do this and then just invest so much bulk, where like, can I go to 209? Yeah, I can do this. And then just have this kind of spread, right? Where I'm just made to be, even though I'm slow, I'm bulky because I have Icy Wind support, I have Tailwind support, and even in the mirror, I can always click Trick Room, and now I can outspeed other RoaringMoons. So for that reason, you could always opt for this slower spread. But for now, I'm still gonna just be going for the max speed build, right? So let me just take a little bit off, and then just put a little bit here, and yeah, this is it. All right, so a faster, still harder hitting, and then a little bit less bulk, but this is it. All right, so let's keep moving on to the next one. Okay, so now the easiest one is obviously the Flutter Mane. This is just a simple sash set. So all we really want to do here is just pretty much just go straight 252, 252. We always want to go like max speed right now because this thing is the most common Pokemon in the format, right? And anytime that happens, you don't want to lose those speed ties. Okay, so at the very least, we'll make it come down to a speed tie if we ever have to. So like, which Shadow Ball is gonna go first, right? So then from there, we just go max speed here, max special attack, and then just 1 point in special defense. And that's really all we need. This is a focus sash mod. No need to do like insane bulk calculated numbers here. That's those are some of the more ambitious sets that I put out when I did the spotlight video for the Flutter Mane. Those are the slower, modest builds, but for this is just a sash Trick Room set, so that's all you need there. And then moving on to the Arcanine. So this one is I just like to make it a little bit more bulky, but again with the speed tier, well, we're gonna go Jolly here, and then we're gonna aim for this number of 143, and I'll tell you why in a second. First of all, for 2 reasons. One, it's a bump, right? So you see how you skip from 141 to 143. So that's one reason right there. And then you're asking like, what is this bump that you speak of? And let me just close that right there. Basically, is this too big? Let me just take a look at this from this angle here. I think this is all right. Yeah. So then, at the very least, after +1, whether it's like from Icy Wind, or whether you get your rematch Tailwinds and then you still get off an Icy Wind, but at +1, you're able to outspeed Dragon Ball, which is important, right? Because then you can just pick up a potential KO with like a Flare Blitz or even like a Snarl, where you're able to get that off at the very least. So this way, they don't get to kill you first. But I think that's always important to outspeed that thing. But what you can do is honestly just go a 1 point more to 144. And what that'll do is well actually no, that's still fine, right? What it means is you'll outspeed the speed creepers, right? So I just go for that number, and then from here honestly you can just max out the HP something like this. 1 point in the attack. We don't really need Arcanine to be attacking as far as like physical wise, like we just need this to support and then deal damage whenever it can with Flare Blitz or Extreme Speed. And then from here, you know, you can just split up the bulk for now. If there's like a specific calc you want to do, then of course take that into account when you use the damage calculator. But for now, we're just hitting like benchmarks and stuff. And then, you know, it's always just like a starting point. You know, as you go and as you test, you'll modify it, of course. Like maybe you want to live a little bit more physical hits, so then you just invest more. Otherwise, you just split up the bulk, and then that's okay. But for this, I just went for like 60 in the defense over here, and then of course 60 in special defense. And that's really it. You know, again, you can adjust these as you test, but you know, as a starting point, you know, just try and use this. But again, this spread is for specifically, you know, for my +1 speed, right? Because we have Icy Wind over here, and then of course we want to match Tailwinds, right? So unless you have that, then you might want to adjust your spend, maybe go a little bit faster, or maybe you might even go a little bit bulkier. It really all depends on your calc, right? But for this particular build, this is what I'm going for. And then the Amoonguss. Okay, so the Amoonguss with the Citrus Berry set. Honestly, like you can either go like Sassy, where you're just like no speed, so this way you're the slowest thing in Trick Room, and then you have the bump in the special defense, or you can just go Impish, where you get the bonus in defense rather than special defense. And there's merits to both. Like at least with defense, you can live like Arcanine Flare Blitzes, or you know, with the bump in special defense, you're able to take those heat waves or those special attack fire moves a little bit better from like a Chi-Yu, for example. So it really all depends on how you want to do your investment. But at least as a starting point, I'll give you both. But at the very least for the HP, I'm just going to go with this. 236. This is just for the optimal regenerator recovery, because when you switch it out, you're going to get a third of your HP back. But I want a full whole number, right? So in order to do that, 219 is the answer, because if you do 219 divided by 0.3, right, that's going to give you about, oops, sorry, I did 219 divided by 0.3. I mean 219 divided by, or times a third, all right, you know, that's about 73. That is 73 HP recovery. Otherwise, anything higher or lower, you're going to get like 72 point something or 73 point something, and then it'll just round it down, so you're just wasting HP investment. So this is a good number. If you want to optimize the Citrus Berry recovery, you can do that as well, but I rather just optimize for the regenerator. But then from here, again, I'm just going to try and hit for the bump here. There it is, 156 investment, and the rest is just going into special defense. On the flip side, if you want to go like more special defense, then you can just do like this. And then now you're going to hit the bump in special defense, and then I'll show you where that is, and that's going to be right here, 119 to 121. See how I skip 120? So this is that bump, and then again, I'm just going to go another 80 investment. Where is it? Right here. Here's the bump. This is the second one, and then you just go into defense right here. So it's the flip way, 156 versus 116 over here. But again, for the sake of the video, I'll just keep it like this, where I'm just going for 116 investment. I meant to put that in speed, so just a little bit like this, and then right here. Okay, so there's our Amoonguss spread with the Citrus Berry. And then for the Iron Bundle, again with this Quark Drive, again a very, very common mon. That's always going to be wanting to go max speed because of the Flutter Mane, right? You want to always outspeed Flutter Mane, so you don't have much of a choice but to go max speed here, right? And then if you want, you can do a little bit more optimization with the HP and some of the defensive bulk, or special defense bulk, I should say. I don't think it needs any defense here, but the damage is actually important, so we're just going to do this. All right, and the boost energy is really, really nice, because you know, with the +1 bonus, you know, that just makes you outspeed everything, right? So that's always really, really nice. Of course, it's actually overkill, but you know, it's good. And then from here, the Murkrow. So I'll show you a couple things. So if you want the Eviolite, where you know, if you want a little bit of bulk, then honestly just do this. So I'm just gonna go max speed here, Jolly spread, you know, just to make sure that, you know, I'm the fastest Murkrow, because it's still a relatively common mon at the moment. And then from here, Now, what you want to make sure with the Eviolite is you want a nice even whole number, because your defense and special defense are going to be multiplied by 1.5. So if you have odd numbers, like let's say this, for example, now it's 63. If you times these by 1.5, you're going to get a decimal. It's going to round it down. So we're not making the best bang for a buck when we do this, right? We always want an even number with something like this, right? So just match it like that, and then just put there's 0 IVs here for some reason. So then from here, then the rest just goes into your HP bulk like this, right? So 64. So good. I got my nice even numbers. I get my optimal boost from Eviolite, and then I'm okay, right? Or what you could do is just, you know, keep it as like this, where you don't invest anything, and then you still get your even numbers, and then just max out your HP like this. So you could do this if you want. I think it's totally fine. You know, either way, I just like to split up just a tiny little bit of bulk right here. Again, no insane calc here. This is just for like a bulky Eviolite spread. But if you go for the covert cloak again, you know, just to stop the fake out, honestly, you know, you could stay with this. I don't think there's any need to. I would just do this. You know, there's just no, what the heck? Yeah, all right, there we go. I don't know what that was. Glitch for a second. Just do this, right? Very fast, very bulky, and then, you know, you have protect, of course, just to like stall a last turn, and then just reset your tailwind. But, you know, up to you. You know, this one just doesn't matter. And you can see like this one, and this one. These are like very general 252, 252 spreads. Normally we don't have as many of these, but you know, I was asked to do like, you know, some like pretty good hyper offense. So this is one way to do it with a nice defensive backbone with Arcanine and Amoonguss. Right, so I think that's it. I think we got all of our spreads. So again, we're just gonna upload this real quick. And again, this will always be in the Pokebase section of the video. And then, wait, let me just make this a little bit bigger so you're able to see this. But ideally, this is what we want. Again, we got the Fire, Water, Grass core with Arcanine, Amoonguss, and the Iron Bundle. I can't wait till they fix this, man. And then the Roaring Moon and the Fluttermane, they give you that Fantasy core. Because we do have the option to go Steel into this. Now, again, if you don't like the Murkrow, if you like the Corviknight, which I like a lot, I'll show you that in a second. But if you like the Corviknight, then you can just go Terra Dark here, and then the Corviknight can be your Steel option, right? So I'll show you that option in a second. But what I want to do is at least show you one test battle with this, just to see how the squad performs, and then you can see kind of what we're getting at here in terms of what we want in terms of how we want to, in terms of how we want to let the team function and play out. So let's take a look at one battle. Okay, so let's take a look at one sample battle here. So again, this is a very fresh account, so you know we're at the bottom of the ladder, but this guy has a Tatsugiri. Tatsugiri Dondozo squad, of course, you know, this is also where you see the value of the Iron Bundle, and then from here he's got the combination of Chi-Yu and Fluttermane. You know, we know how effective those two are as a nice pair. Then of course the Torkoal with the weather to give the Fluttermane the photosynthesis activation, and then there's a Palafin here for some reason. I couldn't tell you why, but I don't like that there's a Palafin here. Again, people are trying different things, of course, but you know, for a couple of reasons, you know, you're just repeating the water typing. You know, you already got 2 of them already technically, and then this one just doesn't do well in the sun either way. So I think this person can just make a little bit of adjustment here, and maybe just go for like a Tailwind setter or some kind of support option, because there's a lot of offense here. Maybe the Torkoal is like a Yawn Body Press set, but like I don't think there's any reason for the Palafin here. But for us, you know, the lead is very simple. I'll show you what it is. So he's going to go with Torkoal and Palafin, so that's interesting. So I'm going to go with Iron Bundle and Roaring Moon here. So again, with the Roaring Moon, just in case he did lead the Tatsugiri, Dondozo stuff, we can just go for Breaking Swipes, and then we can put pressure with the Iron Bundle with the Freeze Dry. And then if you look here, the Iron Bundle is actually the fastest thing on the field. So I was going to get speed control this way by clicking Icy Wind, and then just going for like potential Breaking Swipes or Throat Chops. And then just like steamrolling from there, right? And then maybe even bring in the Fluttermane from the back. But he goes with the Palafin Torkoal, and I'm not sure what he's trying to do here, but I do have the faster mons on the field unless there is a Scarf over there, which it very well could be because he can go for flip turn. But either way, I don't think whatever wants to come in wants to take a breaking swipe or that matter, right? So I do get the speed boost here, so this is nice for me. He goes into the Flutter Mane right now. Of course, I'm gonna go into the Freeze Dry. He actually does a double swap here, so there's the Freeze Dry. Good damage on the Flutter Mane. Breaking Swipe, not going to do anything to the Flutter Mane because it's a Fairy type, but we do chip the Chi-Yu very, very well. That's very, very good damage in all honesty. Now, this looks like an obvious play in turn 2 where I can just, again, click Freeze Dry into the Flutter Mane and then just pick up a KO and then just pick up the Chi-Yu with the Breaking Swipe because I'm faster anyway, right? However, all right, that being said, I was a little nervous about this damage originally, right? Because you can see 51%. Now, I could have low rolled it, right? But I didn't want to take that chance because if I click Freeze Dry and if this Flutter Mane lives, the Flutter Mane is going to take out my Roaring Moon, all right? And then that means the Chi-Yu gets to stay on the field and then the Chi-Yu can just pick up the Iron Bundle because it's in the sun. Heat Wave is going to do a lot, single target. That's bad. Now, you might say just transform the Roaring Moon into a Steel type and then the Flutter Mane can't KO. Yes, that may be true, but then I just died to the Heat Wave from the Chi-Yu, right? So that's not great. But technically, I could outspeed it, but it's just so much damage. I don't want to take the risk here. So what I'm going to do is, to play it safe, I am going to make a swap here. I'm going to go into the Arcanine because I know I can take this Fairy attack. I can resist it. I'm going to go for the Icy Wind first, get the speed control that I want, all right? And then, see, there's the Moonblast, right? That does a lot of damage. That would have killed me, actually. And there's the Dark Pulse. He does take out the Iron Bundle, but that's okay, right? Because now I have my own Flutter Mane now, and then I can save the Roaring Moon in the back. But now look at this, because now everything has been chipped a lot. I have Dazzling Gleam. All right, the Arcanine was able to survive. We're kind of just chilling here. I can just click the Dazzling Gleam here. So there's a little bit of chip damage for the E-Speed, just in case the Dazzling Gleam is not enough to pick up the Chi-Yu because it has very high special defense. And here comes the Palafin, here's the Torkoal. See, this is what I'm talking about, right? So, you know, I don't want to know why he has the Palafin here, and now he's in this awkward position where, yes, he's 0 to hero, but, you know, his water damage is reduced because he has Torkoal in the sun, and that's kind of the problem here with some of these builds. But now we're just kind of chilling, all right, because, I mean, we're just going to try and chip the Palafin a little bit. Again, he does Aqua Jet, can't even pick up the Arcanine. I'm just trying to chip the Palafin as much as I can. See, it is a supportive Torkoal set, right? It's a Yawn Body Press set. I know that for a fact. He's trying to put me to sleep. But again, you know, I can just make a simple pivot here into Roaring Moon. And then we're kind of okay. We get the attack boost, which is really, really nice because of the sun. And the Aqua Jet picks up the Arcanine. But, you know, the sun's about to expire. And that's okay because now what ends up happening is this, because if you look, yes, he has +2 defense. Yes, he can resist a lot of what Roaring Moon has, but he can't really kill the Roaring Moon, especially when I have the Flutter Mane on the field. So this is very simple. Just a Shadow Ball over here, Breaking Swipe over here. We pick up the Palafin, and now it's just a 2-on-1 on the Torkoal. Nothing else he can really do, just Iron Defense, but it's actually Iron Defense Body Press. So, I mean, it's a Fire type, but again, nothing really they can do because even if he has Heat Wave, he can't really pick up any KOs, and it's actually just Eruption. To my surprise, I thought when you're doing this kind of build, you want to do Heat Wave. You don't want to do Eruption because you're meant to be pivoting the Torkoal in and out. So you're going to be taking damage, you know, throughout. You're just meant to pivot in and get the weather. But, you know, you still want like a good damaging fire move, right? To click when you're at half health. I think Heat Wave makes a lot more sense. If this was like a hard Trick Room team, then Eruption makes more sense. But if he's going for the Yawn Body Press stuff, then he's got to go Heat Wave. Right, but you can see what we were doing, right? We played it safe. We went for the Icy Wind. We repositioned, and then the Arcanine came in, and then after that, we just positioned Flutter Mane and Roaring Moon to just sweep the game from there, right? So that's what we want to do. And you saw the value of the Icy Wind on the Iron Bundle. Again, speed control is important, and in this battle, it's just a very classic example. Again, we're at the bottom of okay because we're at a fresh account. You know, we haven't been really climbing. For that matter, you know, we just made just a bunch of spotlight videos and a bunch of analysis videos. I have yet to try and climb, so hopefully we can get some of that going. But yeah, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the Corviknight version, and you know, just get you guys out of here. Okay, so let me show you the Corviknight version because then we made some adjustments to the team. So I already have it set up for you here. So it's still gonna have Tailwind. And then this is an Ironhead Braver bulk up set. And the reason why I like bulk up for a lot of things because you can put this next to Amoonguss, you can put this next to Gyarados. And what you can do is either set up the Tailwind or redirect and then also set up Tailwind or set up your bulk ups where you're just getting a lot of defense out of this. And then you're also increasing your attack. And then you're dealing a bunch of damage with Ironhead or Brave Bird. So really nice option there. And then you have leftovers recovery along with your bulk up. So this way you always have some end games with bulk up. All right, because you can just wall physical attackers, assuming they don't do super effective damage. Gyarados. So again, we got rid of the Arcanine, and I'll tell you why we had to do this. Because if you swap out Murkrow and put in Corviknight, where's the sun coming from? You don't have Sunny Day anymore. So what we did was we swapped the Arcanine for the Torkoal to get the drop going, but then for the water option instead of the Iron Bundle, then we have Gyarados over here. So we still get Intimidate off. And then now what you have is another aggressive physical attacker on the team because now you can just do much more damage output because now the Arcanine turns into the Torkoal special attacker really. But again, Dragon Dance really good, just like RoaringMoon. So a lot of setup here. We always like Greed. Terra Blast Grass, just in case you want to resist electric type attacks. You could also do Ground. And then just do like Earthquake next to all this stuff. But like, I just like Grass. Grass is really nice because then it lets you hit some of the bulky waters like, Dondazo, Palafins, and even Rotom Washes that are running around. And then the Iron Bundle is another one that you can hit. So I do like Terra Grass on Gyarados. All right, and then the Lumberry, just in case they want to burn it or sleep it or paralyze it, you have that Lumberry, it comes in clutch. You're also welcome to use the Amulet. Or if you can put the Amulet here, then put the Life Orb here. Either way, you can just mix and match. But definitely like the 6. The Torkoal, again, because we're pivoting in and out with the Torkoal, this is a Heat Wave Yawn Body Press set with the Citrus Berry. And then I just put the Oka Berry on the Amoonguss. So this way we can also better resist those fire type attacks. But again, with the Torkoal, with the Citrus Berry, because we're pivoting in and out, we're going to be taking damage. So Eruption's not going to be doing a whole lot. So again, this is where you want to have that Heat Wave Yawn Body Press set with Terra Fire. So this way, if anything, you can still keep going for body presses or hit, hard hitting Heat Waves in the sun. But again, the goal is just to like have that weather control, and I think this is pretty good. And what you can do here is lead Fluttermane Torkoal, get the Photosynthesis boost, and if you want, protect Torkoal turn 1, click Trick Room on Fluttermane, and then next turn now you have a bunch of Heat Wave pressure, and for that. That might even work with the Eruption set if you want to play the squad that way and then just go for late game RoaringMoon Corviknight stuff. That's also cool. But yeah, this is another cool alternative to trying to build around RoaringMoon. And again, because you have this steel option, you're more than welcome to remove the Iron Head and then just go for like your Dragon move again, which is also acceptable. Breaking Swipe is kind of good. But again, I leave it up to you. If you want to play the squad like this, I'll just put it up. And I'll put both pastes in the video description. So you have this version. Wait, what the heck? You have this version, or you have the Murkrow Arcanine Iron Bundle version. So just a couple of alternatives that you're more than happy to try. I like both. Depends on how you want to play the squads. But yeah, again, if this is something you're interested in, definitely take a look at the video description where we do have. The option to do a tier 3 sub where you can sit down in a call with me one-on-one, do a team building sub, or you can do a tier 2 sub where you can have your squad already and then just ask me to fix it up and optimize it a little bit based on the meta at the given moment. So let me know what version you like and let me know if you give it a go and let me know how you do. But yeah, this is how we do a team building on this channel. So we'll be back with another Scarlet and Violet video in the next one, guys. Peace out and have a good one.